So what we doing? Good morning, wherever you're listening in from. It's morning somewhere. It's Uncle Neely. It's Dukes the Scoop. It's Big Dog Chico Cleese. We up in this thing live and direct. Let's bring you guys the morning run. V Gates, Aloha Friday. Wake it up wherever you're checking in from. We appreciate it. 7 a.m. Hawaii time, 11 a.m. Mountain time, and 1 p.m. Eastern time. Put it in the chat. Let us know where you're checking in from. We got a jam-packed show for you today. This is the morning round once again. Talking about some transfer portal news, CU Buff football, Coach Prime, and everything else. And, of course, we have a great guest on the show for you today on the second half, so y'all stay tuned for that. Good morning to you, Uncle Neely, with the Cock Goonsville hat. And good morning to you, Dukes, with the Kappa / 49ers inspired Goonsville hat. What's happening?
It's all good, fam. How y'all feeling, man?
Hey, we great this morning. Dukes, you on mute, Dukes. He says, I can't unmute you because you chose to. Good morning.
Yeah.
How you doing? What'd you say before you went muted?
Huh?
What'd you say before you were muted?
So what you mute? I asked what you mute me for.
I didn't mute you. It said,
I'm joking. No, I'm good, man. It's Good Friday, man. For sure.
Good Friday.
Yeah.
Good Friday.
It
Put
is
a good Friday in the chat.
Literally and figuratively, man. Good Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Good Friday, Easter weekend, man. You know, we had Holy Wednesday because we got a Judas like Big Dog Chico, so I had to shout that out. Oh, I ain't know they got that part for you dropped out of Bible college. But shout out to the Morning Run chat. Don't forget to check in. Let us know yet. Hey, Dukes, Chico. Yo. When I look out this window right here, I'm looking at Folsom Field, and you know what I see?
Well, you see a brand new turf out there, yeah?
Shit, they can't do that damn fast now. I see snow on the turf.
Oh, damn.
But what I see is 12 Travis Hunter, and go to the other end, I see 2 Shedeur Sanders. Names are up on the building. Y'all can hate. Y'all can get mad. It ain't coming down.
Right there, like that?
Yeah, just a little snow now, though. But yeah, just like that.
Yeah. It's cemented now at Folsom Field with number 2 and number 12 up there. A lot of controversy going on, but hey, man, if y'all have questions, put it in the chat because I think we can answer them, as Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter are very deserving of this honor and award of being having their numbers retired at Colorado. Dudes, what you think about this one?
I think it's great.
Period. Dukes, let me throw a log on that fire.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of talk back and forth, this and that, what have you. And here's the one. Now, let me say this. First and foremost, let me say this. I don't even go back and forth with the people who try to purport that this is not deserved, earned, or with merit. Like I only touch the people. You're too foolish for me to engage with.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what really bothers me is the people who will say, "Oh, this is deserved. They've earned this honor, but it's too soon."
But it's too soon.
And I don't even know, Chico, how you rationalize that. Like they got to come back when they're old and gray. Foreseeably for the next 10, 12 years, they're going to be busy on football weekends. So when do you want this to happen? When is it okay with you to recognize somebody for their achievements, an achievement that they can no longer add to?
Right.
So everything that has given them the place in history to receive this honor is not like 10 years from now they add to it. It's based on their playing days at Colorado. Their Colorado playing days are over. So I was listening to a former QB here, Joe Klatt. He has a show, and he was talking about how he called Rick George and he disagreed with it. And, you know, on one hand, he said he understand it because their numbers merited, but it's just too soon. I'm like, Joe, like, what? Like, where do you get that from? How is it too soon to recognize somebody for their achievement? How is it too soon to give somebody the roses that they have earned? Like, you want to do this posthumously? You want them to be in the ground and have their grandkids out there? This is the perfect opportunity to recognize what they accomplished here. And to the folks who will say, hey, but what about the people before them that didn't get recognized? You need to take that up with the AD before Rick George. You need to take that up with the boosters before we got here. Because I'm going to tell you this. Let me tell you this, Chico. They didn't say it was too soon to sell out all the hotels when we play.
Man.
They didn't say it was too soon to have every game on network TV all 12 weeks in a row. They didn't say
that ain't a lie.
They didn't say it was too soon to win a Heisman, too soon to have a first time ever Johnny Unitas Award winner. They didn't say it was too soon for that. They didn't say it was too soon to have the highest GPA consecutively in Colorado football history. They didn't say it was too soon for that. They didn't say it was too soon to have every game sold out the past 2 years when it hadn't been sold down 20. They didn't say it was too soon for that.
He ain't lying.
Well, you the Oregon.
But now that you want to recognize two young brothers for their achievement and put their names up in lights forever, oh, it's too soon. You can't do that yet. What about other people? Them other people wasn't on our watch.
Mm-hmm.
We gonna do right while we got right to do.
Well, speak on it, because that's the truth right there.
Right. Hey man, a skillet, cast iron pan, wok, grill, let them cook. Cook.
Hey man, I don't know. Let me take the Scully off. Sometimes the Scully, it's the Scully y'all. When I wear the Scully, it just get going.
I think you need to just roll that thing up a little bit, because you're in that mode right now.
Now I'm just it gets aggravating, it's agitating, like it affects your spirit. It does all those things to you. Then you just realize, oh man, this is the weekend. We got a greater God to serve, so I'm gonna be all right. But I got to get this off my chest. I just don't understand this too soon nonsense.
Yeah.
If you want to say that Travis Hunter winning the Heisman Trophy does not merit the number 12 being retired, I'm looking up there right now and see Rashawn Salam. He has a Heisman Trophy winner. If you want to say that, oh man, Deion Figures wore the number 2 and he was a Thorpe Award winner and he's not up there. Well, Shedeur Sanders wore the number 2 and he the first ever Johnny Unitas Award winner. Not to mention the hundreds of school records that he has broken.
Mm-hmm.
And broken in a time frame that'll never be broken again. Look what he did in 2 seasons. Can you imagine what he did in 3 or 4?
Right.
And you know what I'm gonna say? And this is for the people like the legacy buffs or the ones who have been, on those teams and fans of those teams in the past. Shedeur Sanders going up and Travis Hunter going up in the Raptors does not take away from their greatness. It doesn't mean that you can't be a fan of Deion Figures and what he did because you're a fan of Travis Hunter and Shedeur and what they've done. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that you aren't a fan of Cordell Stewart because you're a fan of Shedeur Sanders and you're okay with his name going up. It's just the fact of the timing and what happened and when it happened. That's all. It's a matter of timing and who was in the position to do this while they were still young. Now, if you could switch these players out, 1,000%, they would want to play somewhere where their achievements could be recognized in real time. But back then, that's all we knew. That's all we were taught. You cannot have a name go up in the Raptors that fast. That's what we knew. But as everything we know happens, right? The world changes, rules change. College football players now get paid to play college football. Everything changes. And so you have to be adaptable. And just because you came up in a time, it's like my dad, right? Growing up in a time where he wasn't able to do some of the things that I'm able to do, hating on me because I'm able to do it. All he's gonna say is, son, I'm glad I was able to lay the groundwork and the concrete for you to run on.
Thank you.
And go do your thing so you can continue to point the finger and say and let people know where you got it from and let people know about the people before you when the spotlight is on you. That's how the past and the future should work together. And I just hate to see when we let things like this get in between greatness from the past and greatness and greatness that's present and greatness that could be coming in the future just because of who was in control at the time. That's all. And that's all it is.
And Dukes, to your point, your succinct, salient point there. That's why you hear Coach Prime in his presser yesterday talk about how much love he has for Rick George. This is a Rick George thing. This wasn't a Deion Sanders thing. Rick George has been here AD for a decade, and he recognized, hey man, since I've been here, on the field and off the field, nobody has impacted this program like these two guys. Why would we wait to honor them?
Right.
And to the guys in the past, who may have, a catfish bone stuck in their throat.
Yeah.
How many times has Deion Figue's name been said this week compared to the past 5 years? You can't talk about these guys, the present and the future, and not talk about the past at the same time.
Right.
And so it goes hand in hand. But what we can't do is baller block somebody in 2025 because somebody didn't get their roses in 1985. What you should do is the same approach like Duke says with his pops. It's like it's an honor. Like I will bump into athletes say, "Oh man, this and that about the portal. I stuck it out. I didn't transfer." You couldn't transfer without being punished. And so you went through what you went through. It's the same thing with the O'Bannon boys at UCLA. They went through what they went through with the lawsuit, and now look at the NIL benefits. They ain't somewhere crying and going, "Oh man, look what they got and we couldn't get it." They fought for this to happen. And then when it happened, you get mad. BiggDogg Chico, I remember when I was at Jackson State in Stewart Hall. Shout out to Stewart Hall, 4th floor. Man, it'd be days the water fountain didn't work and the elevator didn't work. Well, fast forward 20 years, they renovated Stewart Hall. We all went back to tour. There was a lot of people in the crowd that were happy to see that building renovated. But you had a couple people in the crowd going like, "Oh, man, we ain't have it like this. They deserve this. They need to have it like we had it." Are you serious? Just because you didn't get some, you don't want nobody else to get it?
That's what it boils down to. That's all I'm saying. And I think that ain't, but what we do realize is it wouldn't be players without haters.
I guess what this dude wasn't so high, right?
Drop one on him. That was like the finish move. That was the leg drop. That was the rock bottom. That was the choke slam. Easy, get him up out of here. 1, 2, 3. Dukes for the win.
Yeah, hey, look, that's all. That's why when you said like, how you feel, I think it's great. It wasn't a whole lot. You know what I mean? Like, it's great, man. Shoot,
great,
man.
Period.
Great.
Yeah. The longest. What is it? Shedeur Sanders threw a touchdown pass in 49 straight games, the longest streak in NCAA Division I, FBS, and FSC. It says on here history. The longest streak in NCAA history. Unbelievable.
The highest completion rate.
Highest completion
NCAA history. Not a season, not a game. And everybody that's ever played football in the history of the NCAA, he has the highest completion rate. And you tell me he ain't worthy?
Man, listen, you're going to, like, when you argue with people like that, it's a million sayings about arguing with fools, right? But at the same time, you're never going to change their mind. You feel me? Like, and it don't matter. And a lot of times, what this boils down to? Attention. It's all it boils down to, attention, man. So it's like, listen, people want attention. It's somebody in the chat that wants attention. Like, saying, like, people want attention. And that's the currency that drives our country now. And so now it's like, okay, cool. We didn't get this attention. Where's our attention? Yeah. Where is this? Because Cordell Stewart is a great, and I haven't even heard him speak on it. You know what I mean? But I know how he feels about the number 10, right? Because he was on this show and he talked about how glad he was for Julian Lewis to be able to wear that number 10. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. You get what I'm saying? Like that, and that's what you need more of, because this only will shed light on other people that need to go up.
Absolutely. And shout out to those guys, like, for instance, Michael Westbrook, who's been on the morning run, phenomenal brother, man, who disagrees with these names going up. But you know what he did? He called Coach Prime and they talked about it. He ain't run to the internet under some burner account, He called his brother and they talked about it. And guess what they reached? They reached an understanding, even if they didn't reach an agreement. Chico, if I could throw something else on Duke's quote there, let me tell y'all this. Salt will kill a snail, but it don't do nothing to a player.
Man.
He ain't lying. So throw all the salt you want. Ain't no damn snails over here.
You went back with an old school term right there, man. He throw his salt.
Salt kills snail.
That's all they do. They put salt in the game.
Yeah, man, it's all and it's all good, man. I think and you just got to be careful, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, if I was to say one more saying, man, like, if you see a fool run their head into the wall, man, don't stop him, help him. He must like it. So when you see people that, like, when you see people that continue to, like, put this narrative out there, like, it's going up whether you like it or not. You just want to be heard at this point. Dog barking at the moon, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just got to ignore. You know what I mean? It's like, man, bro, there's so much more to talk about. Like,
Bob Marley once said, "Is the foolish dog that bark at the flying bird."
Yeah.
That bird, and just like we talked about the other day, that bird that's shit and gone.
It's over with. You can't, like, it's going up, dog. No, I'm just saying, it's going up regardless. Like, and I know nobody's gonna be talking about this a month from now.
No,
right. And that's the sad part about it. The selective outrage that comes along with, because they're going up that nobody, like, why y'all ain't been outraged this whole time? Like, you know, it wasn't a problem. Nobody was campaigning for these names to go up before and now. That's the only thing I'm saying. Like, where was this campaign 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when y'all was 1-11? Where was the campaign for the guys that need to go up? Where was Deion Figures' campaign then? Like, it's loud now.
Yeah, it's loud now because somebody else getting it, and I won't.
That's the only thing I'm saying. It's like a dude, you got a chance to marry this girl, you don't marry her, you don't treat her right, you don't do nothing. She goes and gets married, and then it's like, oh no, that's a wrong man for you. You had a chance to do it before. Like, that's the only thing. Like, and I don't mind people having a difference of opinion. It's the selective outrage for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't like, oh, come on, man. You know, it's you picking now. Now you picking. Like, and even if you do disagree, that's all I'm saying. Like, it's okay to disagree. Everybody ain't got, like, but the shots that you take at somebody else to prove your point, because, and this what happens. See, people will take shots at Shedeur's and Travis's resume. So the people who support Shedeur and Travis can go back and say, well, let me poke holes in your resume. And now what you do is you got people fighting against each other that got no beef, zero beef, because you all on the same team. And I think that's the biggest thing that we got to take away from this. And this is for Buff Nation as a whole. Like, bro, do not let these little things come and set, because you need the legacy Buff fans, because it helps make Colorado. You need the fans that came over with Coach Prime, because it makes Colorado. So this is one of those things that we're just like, bro, it's like people in the church arguing about how many times you should pass the offering, or what time we gonna have repass. Bro, the whole goal is to get to heaven, but we arguing about something that's really got nothing to do with the main goal. And I believe it at that.
Hey man, 2 seasons played over 100.
Hold up, yeah, body back. Hold on, I'm sorry. This man was an on-3 employee yesterday. Now he know all the history. What history did I say that I knew? And I'm gonna give you your attention because you want it so bad. Body bag him. But I'll tell you this is what we'll do. Let's have a real conversation. You come on my show, body bag him with your real name, like I got to come out here with my real name, and you tell me the history.
Hey, we'll get back to that. That's your 5 seconds of fame right there from the chat. Dukes.
And we can run it. And I'm going to bring you on the show, and we can talk about it. 1,500 people live last night. We can do that.
I think his Wi-Fi just went out there.
Hey, but we are in the midst of the transfer portal. We had some guys, you know, of course we're going to have guys. We talked about this. We said this was going to happen. You let everybody know this is going to happen plenty of times on the show. You're going to have guys leaving. That's going to happen first. You're going to see them leave. You're going to wonder, oh, what happened? What's going on? You said just wait. We're going to have guys coming in. And every time a guy go out and a guy come in, it's going to be upgraded, or what Duke's calling and top grading right now. That's what Coach Prime is doing, upgrading and top grading this roster. Can you talk about some of the guys that have left and what we're expecting to have coming in?
Yeah, I'll talk about it in general, not name by name. In general, you know, you look at guys who are leaving, and like I've always said, they leave for what they think is a better opportunity. And I will never be mad at that. And particularly when you factor in, man, in college football, 98% is not going pro. And so when these guys get a bag offer that could help their family right now, young people look at that and take it, because a lot of people are more interested in NIL than NFL. And Colorado is the path to the NFL. And you can get some NIL while you're here, of course, too. And so you see guys, whether it's playing time, whether it's bag opportunity, what have you, that are going to take that opportunity. What I stress to, the fans out there, no matter who your team is, when the portal opens, you have to get in it before you get out of it. So there's always going to be a greater number leaving your school than coming into your school, because you have to get in the portal. And so whether you're getting the guy from somewhere else, he had to get in the portal to come to you. Whether someone is leaving you and going somewhere else, they got to get in the portal first. So those first 72 hours, which we're still in now, the portal open Wednesday, you're going to see more names going in. And then as people start taking visits this weekend, like coming to Colorado and early next week, you're going to see names coming out. I think what Coach Prime is proven in the portal, whether it's Jackson State or the first 2 years here at Colorado, the team always gets better after the portal door closes. A lot of people want to look at the attention of who's leaving. Can't believe this guy left. Shout out to the guys leaving, man. Wish them nothing but the best, particularly those that leave in the right manner. Not trying to shoot shots, throw shades, and make up stories. Just dip in the right way. Man, Coach Prime help you load your car. He'll help you get somewhere that's better suited for you. But what always happens, Chico, and this has been proven time and time again in 4 seasons, the team or the position from the player that left gets better. And then a lot of times people don't want to acknowledge this. When you look at who is leaving and you take the totality of their reps, the totality of their performance, their availability, and you take that data and you look up, you're like, okay, well, it's not like we lost a lot of production at that level or at that position. Now let's go out there and replace that production or go greater. And that's what happens when Coach Prime is managing the portal. Shout out to Ray Forsett, Pretty Tony, what they call him. Shout out to Corey Phillips, his staff and recruitment. Shout out to all the coaches who go to those people and say, this is what I need in my room, and they go find it.
Yeah. And shout out to all the experts that be like, oh, this guy left. He was projected to be the starter. He was going to start. Man, y'all don't know, man. Y'all, come on now. Y'all coaches out there.
Sometimes I appreciate that too, Chico, because sometimes you have to look at this notion of starting, and here's what starting means. Out of all the people available on that particular day, you were the best of those available. Doesn't mean that you're the best available in college football. You were the best available on this roster that day. And that could be because of injury. That could be because somebody didn't have grades. It could be any damn thing. So you can't say just because somebody was getting starting reps or had the most yards at this, that they're somehow, in the words of Beyonce, irreplaceable.
Man, I'll say this, so I learned that whole notion about top grading and upgrading when I was working. I was managing a production line, and in order to make the product that we were making, it's 12 slots, right? And all 12 of those slots, you need to make something. Now there may be one position on that production line, right, that this guy may not have been the best to make that line the most optimal, but he was the best you had that day. So usually what we did was the easiest people to hire were temp associates, and we put them all in the easiest jobs. And so when we got the best temp, we said that was upgraded because we got great temps. But when we looked at the production from the top and we said, you know what, where can we be better at to make this line? We would go to the best positions and say, can we get better here? And that's called top grading. And that's what Colorado was doing. They're saying, all right, we had serviceable production based on last year's roster, but we only won 9 and we need to win 10. So how do we get to 10? You don't start at the bottom of the roster to add a win, to add 2 wins, to get to the college football playoffs. You don't start from the bottom of the roster. You start from the top. And there are going to be some tough decisions that have to get made when you have a guy come in your office and he says, hey, coach, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. And we're not talking any type of disrespectful conversation. We're talking about, hey, coach, my agent said that I can get this much, this amount. This is double what I'm getting here. How do you feel about it? And one of these, and somebody in that front office or the coach, somebody says, hey, man, good luck to you. I know you got to go get it. No hard feelings. We just can't do that here. Because you've got somebody else already ready for that slot that could be on that roster. See, we talk about different positions where, the best safety on your roster could be on offense. And I'm one of the people that believes that. Like, Cam Michael may be one of the best safeties on that roster. He's just not playing that position because he's good at other positions. But so when you look at what you can do to top grade, it could be on the roster, and then you get the transfer portal. Depending on what you want to do, there are going to be players that have a better physical profile and have more athleticism at certain positions that are going to help you. And I'm telling you right now, the rest of that list is probably everybody who's in Colorado. That first list should be out in the next hour or two. People are just getting off that flight in Denver. In the next hour or two, you're going to see, and it's going to make sense to everybody. So from that, and that's just this weekend. But they load. I know Uncle Neely knows, and just due to, not want to put everything out because we don't have to be first. I'd rather be right. So at the end of the day, so from what I've heard, Colorado's going to be just fine. And I don't think, and I think the players that are leaving are going to be fine too because they're not bad players. And I said this last night, dog. How you love somebody yesterday, but then you hate them because they chose to do something better for themselves?
You didn't love them. You loved them situationally. You loved them because what they were doing for you. You didn't love them for who they are. Because if you love them for who they are, you want them to go get the best that they can get, even if it's not being with you. Hey, Dukes, Chico, a guy called me out in this morning's video. This morning's video was filmed yesterday and day before yesterday, and I started the video off, with the camera shot on some new centers. And a guy in the comments said, "Oh, see, Neely already knew Cash was leaving. That's why he started that video." Like, hey, man, let me tell you, dog, Deuce just said it, man. The stuff we know, and we know in advance. And just because we don't break the news doesn't mean that we don't know what's going on. Like this ain't 24/7 news where we just trying to every 60 seconds tell y'all something y'all didn't know. Sometimes we just let the dust settle and sit back and, like Marvel movies do, give y'all little Easter eggs what's happening. But as Duke said, there are going to be a couple more guys to leave. There's going to be a hell of a lot more coming in. Look at the three faces on this panel. Does anybody look worried? That was my non-worried look, Chico.
Hey, man, this is the morning, right? You now tuned in on this Good Friday, Aloha Friday. Philip Dukes, Uncle Neely, BiggDogg, Chico. We have a special guest getting ready to come on, guys. Y'all ready to do this?
Oh, man. Yeah. I love when folks be on time. We said 12. We said 11:30 Mountain, and it's 11:29.
Oh yeah, she been waiting on us.
Oh, cool.
Sit back at the back. All right. Well, we're gonna leave it to Uncle Neely to give us a nice intro.
Oh, good deal, man. Hey, look, tomorrow is the spring game here in Colorado, which is the finality of spring practice. A little snow on the ground. But what do most people do around the world when they off? They go play some golf, man. So we could not get into this spring season, this summer season, and not bring on one of the greatest golfers. HBCU, Jackson State made. Shasta Averyhardt is in the building. Oh, used to be my homie. Now she act like she don't know me, but I still love her anyway.
Sounds like she's a smart lady.
Chico, I was gonna let her get on and off before I shot at you, but now you okay. All right,
how you doing, Miss Shasta?
He
how
said
you
my
doing?
thoughts. He said my thoughts.
Let's go on for Chico.
Easy. How you doing, Miss Shasta?
I'm doing great. I'm doing good. The weather has broken officially, so I'm definitely going to the golf course actually after this.
Nice. So I would give you one of those Shay introductions, but Uncle Neely might hate on it, so we'll just go ahead and can you tell us a little bit? Well, you know what? Forget it. She's a trailblazer. She's a history maker. She's a 4-time SWAC dominator, a Jackson State legend, a boss with a backswing, and a counter with accuracy. She's a mentor to the next, a voice for the voiceless, a force on the fairway, and the whole vibe off the course. She didn't just break barriers; she stepped over them in golf spikes. From Flint to the LPGA, she's been making noise and making a change. Y'all know what time it is. Give it up for the phenomenal and unstoppable Miss Shasta Averyhardt.
Okay, Chico.
That was an amazing intro.
You had to do it right. You had to do it right.
Yeah, let me Shasta. Me and you go way back. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you on live. He ain't never did that for Nan guest we that ever had.
Really?
Nan, not none, but Nan. In fact, He ain't even do that good as an Easter speech at church where he was growing up, but he was reading it though, so I'm gonna give him that. But good job, Chico.
That
Thank you
means
very
I'm
much.
special.
Thank you very much.
You are special.
Exactly. Very special. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I am living the dream still, not from a touring perspective anymore, but I'm still in golf. And right now, just kind of the break of the season, everything's starting to gear up and get busy. And so I'm just really excited and looking forward to some of the travel app coming up soon.
That's all right, Shasta. So, one thing I love about golf this time of year, we just finished the Masters. We tried to get you on before the Masters, had some conflicts, but you did get to go Sunday to the final round, I think, right?
I did. I got a last minute invite, and I mean, I'm here in Atlanta, so I was like, oh, I canceled everything I had going on Sunday to make sure that I was there in Augusta, and it was magical, especially with that finish. If you guys watched,
I did watch. I thought Rory was just trying to give it away. In fact, I got to admit this. When it went to the playoff hole, I said, man, this dude done had 18 holes to get it right. Let me get on my bet now and put $25 on love. And I lost, but such is life.
Honestly, it was the most emotional roller coaster ride of a round I've experienced as a viewer since Tiger. Like Tiger always had me stressed because he'll have a string of birdies, and then on hole 16 he like blocks his tee shot right, and you're like, oh my god, like how's he gonna recover? And he recovers, obviously given his his record. And so with Rory, missing the green on 18, I'm like, you're 125 out, like you have a wedge in, what are you doing? But it happens, it's golf. And I mean, he ended up getting lucky and winning, but I like Justin Rose and Rory, so I was pulling for either.
Gotcha. But talk about that for a second with me, like the mental part of this game, of the golf game, that here you are, 18th hole in the Masters. All you got to do is what you've done 10,000 times before, but it's 125 yards out way at your hand and somehow you blow it. Like, what is it so tough about golf in the mind aspect of it?
Well, I mean, obviously it's pressure, but I was actually not on 18 when Rory was coming down the fairway. We actually went over to the hospitality area to just kind of cool off. And so we're watching on TV. And from what I could tell, it looked like he was pin high. He was just in the right bunker. And so you kind of feel like he did all the right things. As long as he committed to his pre-shot routine, like you can't really get mad. Obviously you want it to be perfect. And I'm in the hospitality area, like pulling my hair out. Like all you need to do is just hit it dead center, like center the green and 2-putt and get out of there. But it's a lot of pressure. He already knows that he has that monkey on his back. That was another factor. And I watched his interview leading into Sunday when he finished his Saturday round, and he made a point to emphasize that he was going to stay in his bubble. And I understood that because it can be very distracting, especially the fact that he was paired with Bryson. And Bryson loves, he thrives off of loud and abrupt behavior because he's mentally tough. And he obviously went to the Live Tour. And so it's a little bit of a different dynamic over there. And so I think Rory had the right mindset going in. It was just that monkey on his back that he was trying to get off, and he could have got ahead of himself. We really don't know because we really weren't in his thoughts, but I could just think that with the monkey on his back, and we're human. We're gonna have a little bad swing once in a while. But I think that finally him getting the Masters jacket, you saw the emotions. It obviously meant a lot to him.
Where did your golf journey start? If you don't mind taking us back to the beginning, before Jackson State, before you met Uncle Neely, where did your golf journey start?
Uncle Neely. My golf journey started in Flint, Michigan, where I was born and raised. Around 6, 7 years old. My dad loves golf. He's obsessed with it, and he was introduced to the game by one of his buddies, and so he played a lot after work, and he just took me with him, and eventually he got me some clubs and just kind of wanted to see what I was going to do with them. And a lot of times he would always try to teach me, the fundamentals of the grip, stance, everything like that, a basic swing. He was always like, watch daddy. And so he would swing, and that was how I learned that I was a visual learner. So I would just watch him over and over again, and then I would try to incorporate what he was doing. And he had a good swing. So I just started to hit the ball, and he noticed that I had, he was like, wait, she has some talent here. There's a really good chance she might have athletic ability. Let me see how far this goes. And so it got to a point where I became very interested in learning how to curve the ball, right to left, left to right. I started becoming fascinated with that. And then I finally started entering into junior tournaments in the Flint area, and then became statewide. And then if I play well enough, I'll go to a couple of national tournaments. And it was definitely a fun experience because Flint at the time, we had so many city courses, city public courses. And that's kind of where that camaraderie and like all the factory workers would meet like after they, get off work. And it was just really a very homey type of environment on the golf course there.
All right, shout out to Flint, Michigan.
Shasta, if you were to create the perfect golfer, whether male or female, and you had to take different parts of each person's game, how would you create? Let's say we go backswing one person, we go follow through another person, and we go vision one person and putt in one person. How would you create your perfect golfer?
Okay. Oh, that's such a good question. Did you chat GPT that?
Not at all.
Okay.
No, that's Chico. That's what Chico do.
Man.
No, that was a great question. I would say that, okay, so the golfer is going to be a woman, female.
Okay.
And
Hold on. Let me stop you. Why a woman?
Because I'm a woman.
That is not fair.
No, she a woman.
How is it not fair?
Because you're saying that just because you're a woman, the prototypical golfer has to be a woman.
In this scenario, it is.
Okay. All right, you win. All right.
He thought he was gonna make you fold. He didn't know you went to Jack State though.
So she's a woman.
Okay.
I would say that in regards to the swing dynamic of like backswing, downswing, finish, I really like Rory's swing. I like Rory's swing, the fundamentals. I want her to have Rory's swing.
Okay.
I want her to have Tiger's putting. And I want her to have Phil Mickelson's short game.
Yeah.
And I want her to have Tiger's swagger.
Tiger's swagger.
Yeah, Tiger's swagger. And in regards to personality, I would say maybe like a Lee Trevino.
Oh, okay. If you had to add one part of your game to the perfect golfer, what part of your game? What part would be Shasta's game that she adds to the perfect golfer?
I would say particularly my knockdown shot. I have that dialed in. Like that's one of my biggest strengths. And when I really need, especially when I'm in between, normally when I'm in between yardages, that's when I really do pull off a really great approach shot or even a par 3 shot.
Oh,
so
nice.
I was a flighted knockdown 3/4 shot. Yeah, that's perfect.
Perfect. No, great answer.
Shasta, you said something a little while ago that reminds me of what I often say to Chico, which is watch daddy. And
what?
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
When you got to the point that you first beat your dad or
that's me right there. That's me right there. Goodness gracious.
Come on, Sam, man. Fire the Sam, man. When you got to the point where you first beat your dad or consistently could beat your dad, what was that dynamic like? Being that he introduced you to the game and used to say, watch daddy.
Yeah, so I would say he was shooting like par when I was in high school. And I felt like I was kind of a late bloomer. And it wasn't until my sophomore year, maybe going into my sophomore summer, going to my junior year, where I finally beat him. And it was like a moment where I felt like it was a milestone I could just kind of check off real quick. And at that point, it was an interesting dynamic because it shifted because after having me have this like quantum leap with my game and starting to shoot under par and really understanding how to score, I felt that my dad took the focus off of his game. He was always focused on my game, but he still loved golf and wanted to keep his game up. But he started to kind of back away from practicing as much, playing as much, to focus on me, and especially giving me an opportunity to, get a scholarship to play in college and to use some of that disposable income that he was allocating to himself more so to fund my junior career.
Love it. Love it.
Can we take it back once again? I should ask the chat
Here
GPT.
come the damn Easter speech.
I'm just going to ask you, can you take us back to golf life at Jackson State? What was that like?
Yeah, so I had a really good team all 4 years, and we had a lot of golf courses to practice at. Our main course was Whisper Lakes in Madison, and we would sometimes go to Refuge, Lake Caroline, and then sometimes out to, it might be Deer Island. I mean, I could be wrong, but it was something Deer, way out far. But Deerfield, yes, that's right. Like, yeah, so I counted so many, Deer Park, Deer Island, over the years, but needless to say, Deerfield. And we had a good structure in regards to everyone knew what they needed to work on with their game. And we didn't really need a whole lot of supervision. And so sometimes when coach would, come out to practice, if he felt like there was maybe an area of the game that a player was not spending much time on after post a tournament, especially that they didn't perform well in that area, he would kind of nudge that player to be like, hey, maybe you need to focus on this drill. And
hey, Shasta, forgive the interruption, but when you said coach, I want to point out to them that your coach was Eddie Payton, Walter Payton's brother at Jackson State. So that might go over their heads who you actually coach.
Yeah, my bad. Okay, yep, Coach Eddie Payton. He was the men and women's golf coaches, or golf coach, and for both teams. And so he would, obviously split his time. We did have an assistant coach, Mr. Luther Thompson. And a lot of times when we traveled to tournaments, coach would play his practice rounds with us, especially if some of the players that had trouble with like course management or trying to develop their course management skills. And I just, I had fun. Like I had fun in all 4 years. I played really well at not only just SWAC tournaments, but like the tournaments outside the SWAC. We went to go play Southern Miss tournament. We always went down there to Hattiesburg. We always went to South Alabama's tournament. And I saw a lot of the girls, not women, that are currently on tour, whether it's LPGA, Epson Tour. I saw them, eventually, and I beat a few of them, in tournament and I think in tournaments. And so I think that, gives you a boost that you got to play everybody. You play everybody, you beat everybody, then that gives you that validation of, okay, I'm doing the work, I'm getting the results, and I'm beating the best, and I just keep trying to climb.
Love that. Hey, Shasta, one nuance about golf, other than the other sports we cover, when I play for the Dallas Cowboys and I travel with the Cowboys, Jerry Jones picks up all the bills. When you're a golfer, those bills are on you. Like you have to front those costs with sponsorships out your own pocket. Talk about, that dynamic of professional golf, that is on the golfer to get those sponsors and get them to tournaments and cover those expenses and hopefully get there and win versus coming up short.
That's a great question, because a lot of people think that it's like the NFL, the NBA, where you get, upfront money. It's like a draft. And technically you can just declare that you're a professional golfer at any time. It's just a matter of you funding your career. And how do you fund your career? Fundraising. If you come from money, family money, that helps give you a little boost of cash to start your career off, or sponsors. Angel investors, those were some of the 4 pillars that you can, try to pull from. And so I always set a budget. I knew how much it cost to play on the LPGA Tour, how much it cost to play on the LPGA Epson Tour, more recently the European Tour. And so the biggest thing around that is knowing how much it's going to cost for entry fees, hotel, caddy, flights, miscellaneous expenses, food. Hopefully you have a clothing and equipment sponsor. And you need to do all your fundraising in the early part of the year, if not the tail end of the year, because you need to be getting ready for that season and paying for everything up front if you can, to kind of plan ahead. And you don't want to buy last minute flights, like $800 flights when you can get it for $300. So it's just things like that that players are always kind of thinking about. And every opportunity you meet with someone or you network is opportunity for someone to be a sponsor. And I learned that over the course of the years of how to, weed out the people who aren't serious about really sponsoring, or some that are just, are on board right away once they have a 5-minute conversation with you. So it's a little bit of a different dynamic. You are a small business and you need upfront capital.
Is that tougher from a woman's perspective, like the weeding out process? Because I'd imagine a woman in sports fundraising, there's going to be a level of BS people coming around like, hey, let me sponsor, but they really ain't trying to sponsor. They're trying to sponsor.
Yes, I went through that early in my career. It was very frustrating, especially I'm like, 22, 23, like trying to figure out, like you're thinking, you're kind of naive. You're thinking everyone has good intentions. And then you're finding out that after about a week or two, or even a month, that the check hasn't been cut yet. So what are we doing? Like, are you going to sponsor, or are you just playing around?
What are we doing? Yeah.
Right. And so there's been situations over the course of the years of like a few men have propositioned me. I'm, just being honest. And it was a very uncomfortable, all of those situations were very uncomfortable. And I had to find a way to get out of it because that's just not the way I wanted to, fund my career by any means.
Proud of you.
A proud father somewhere.
Hey, Shasta, I wanted to ask you, so I think before you qualified for the LPGA Tour, I think the last person before you that was a minority or African-American was like 2001. There was like a 10-year difference somewhere in there. As we look at the PGA and the LPGA, there isn't a lot of minority representation, and especially that are really kind of tapped in with the culture. So you got guys like Roger Steele, and then a plug right quick for my boy Wayne Burks from Trap Golf, who actually played at Southern. Shout out to Wayne. But Wayne actually became a caddy for Troy Merritt. So, but there's not, when he comes home, it's like, the kids don't know what he went through. They don't know how big it is for him to be on the PGA Tour, even as a caddy. What do you think would kind of expose more minorities, and especially us that are tapped into the culture, to the great game of golf, and kind of bring more representation into the game?
So are you saying from like an amateur standpoint, or wanting to see more touring professionals that are Black on tour? Or
I guess I would say amateur, which could lead to professional.
Okay, so because I feel like if you're starting in your 20s and 30s, you're probably not going to play professionally. Like, it's too late.
Right.
Right. So starting young, so I'm thinking from a professional standpoint, right? Pursuing a tour, going to Q school, actively, getting your tour card. You got to start young. And there needs to be interest. There needs to be a genuine interest. Like, I actually really like the game. I like the challenge. I like to practice. How do I get better? Also, there's another factor of representation, which we came up in the Tiger era. Tiger was my inspiration. That was a lot easier for me to see him, to see a lot of other Black people at the golf course in Flint. I didn't always feel, even though I didn't see too many, girls look like me, I never felt like an outcast in a way. I just kind of accepted that was just the dynamic, playing at, a white male dominated sport. But I think that, there needs to be an interest in not just using golf because it's trendy. And I see that kind of happening a little bit, where people are, at the golf course, they're taking pictures, they're doing video, but they're really not improving their game. They're not really, they don't know the etiquette of the sport. They don't know how to take care of the tee boxes, fill in their divots. That to me comes from a genuine interest of playing golf. And so I can decipher really quickly when I meet people and maybe they just got into the game or they've been playing for a year or two. If I play with them, I kind of know they're either interested in the game and they really want to get better, or they're just here for the show and it just sounds good. And, you know, Roger, like I know Roger, and he genuinely loves golf. And he saw a gap and he took advantage of that gap to try to pull in more people like us to get in the game. But there first has to be an interest.
Okay.
And you don't know, you don't know unless you try, right? And golf's so expensive. I mean, I didn't even give you any of the numbers, but that also weeds out a lot of minorities because you need a lot of disposable income to be able to fund whether it's a hobby or your career.
Shasta, we got a question from the chat, super chat. Doubly blessed twin mommy with the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate that. Shasta, I'm curious, do you feel that women tend to support you financially more than men do? How do you feel about that dynamic? And then I saw a hashtag women supporting women.
Yeah, that's a great question. So my first sponsor was a group of women in Sisters Across America. They're 501c. They're still in existence. It's a 501c3. They are based in Orlando, Florida. And the way I came about that sponsorship opportunity was really wild. And I would say that like having their support, even though it wasn't fully funded, I still had to work at the golf course and also play, like, practice and get ready for tournaments. So I was really juggling a lot. But I find that without them, there was no chance I would have had a career, because I sometimes would hit a dead wall. Like when I graduated, a lot of times I felt like men were really hesitant to get on board. There was always comparisons, always trying to downplay my resume. It was just a lot of emotional and mental strife early in my career. But I also had Dr. Robert Sims up in Detroit, who also, helped gather support when I turned professional, and just try to fund, whether it was just a few $100s, a few $1,000s, it all a little bit helped. But it was very interesting because early on, a lot of women supported me. And I think that meant a lot. And I'm always about women supporting women. And then more recent years, I've had a lot of men support me. And so it's just a very interesting dynamic shift. So I can't say one helped more than the other, but to kickstart my career, it was women.
Do you find that same dynamic when you're like doing professional services, like agents, people you do business with, or is it reciprocal, like where you see a lot of women in the sports support industry, or is it still a minority amongst minorities?
I would say I see more women, now. Right now, I mean, I'll use an example. My agent and I had a call about 2 or 3 weeks ago with a lady that she's a lawyer, and she's actually has an event coming up in June in Texas, and it's going to be it's like a corporate council on the course. And so it's going to be a big, large group of female lawyers, and they're all coming in, and it's going to circle around golf and how golf can be a vessel to amplify your career, to meet people, or just have a hobby, something to do, get away. And so those opportunities have actually happened a lot over the years. And it just depends on, if it's corporate or if it's, an organization. I find that there's a really good balance of that.
And no, Chico, you can't go. You ain't no attorney. You ain't no woman. You ain't married. You can't park cars. Stop. Focus, Chico. I see you over there like July. He was trying to write it down. Go ass down, man.
He ain't lying.
I want to ask you. I tried golf lessons last year, and it really hurt my back, and I kind of tapped out earlier. I paid for about 6 of them. What's the best thing that you would say for a new golfer? Like, what should they try to master first for somebody who wants to learn the game?
I would say start from the green and work your way back to the tee.
Oh, wow.
Putt. Go, learn how to putt, learn how to chip, learn how to pitch, learn how to hit your irons so you can hit, 100-yard shots, 125 shots, 150 shots, move your way back, all the way back to the driver. because starting at the driver is the hardest club to hit in the bag, and it's going to magnify all of your mistakes, and that will kill your confidence, because then you think, well, if I'm slicing or hooking my driver, there's no way I'm going to be able to hit my wedge shots. But if you start from the green and hitting the little chips, it's just little swings, and you're just building up. And I feel like that's how I started, and I feel like a lot of really good golfers start that way.
Do you feel like you should actually interlock your pinky and your index for the grip? Like, would you?
I used to,
Okay.
and then I ended up switching to overlap.
Okay.
And I just stuck with it. But I used to prior to high school. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, all right. Well, I guess ain't no shame in it. All right.
Whatever works for you. You got to do what works for you. It's such an individualized game.
Okay.
Deuce, I still interlock. I ain't know it's for something to be saying.
You get risky though. You do with the interlock. You get a little risky where you start trying to roll stuff over. But if you overlap, you take a lot of your risks out of play.
But Shasta, I love what you said about starting at the green and working back, because that's exactly what I did after years of just like sucking. I said, hold on a second now. If I can hit my pitching wedge 130 and this par 5 is 500 yards, won't I just use this club 4 times and be there instead of hitting it into the damn woods with the driver?
You got to work smarter, not harder.
And my scores like went down. I still like, I can go at it right now and be under 100, but I rarely break 90 still. Like, so that don't happen.
Well, you saying that makes me realize a lot of people don't understand the purpose of golf. And you have places like Topgolf that introduce people to golf, bring people to go play golf, but it's technically not golf because you're missing the putting, you're missing the chipping, you're missing the bunker play, you're missing so many other components of that make golf. And especially like indoor, like, when you're in a colder climate, it's like you kind of have to if you want to keep your swing together, but then you're missing other areas of your game. And I find that when the question was asked was, for a beginner, how do you start? I tell people Top Golf a lot of times if they don't have access to a golf course. Mm-hmm. But if they have access to a golf course, I'm like, go to the green, get a little putter, get a few balls, and just try to make some putts and move around.
That reminds me, because we have some beautiful courses out here in Hawaii. I was going to ask you, have you ever played out here? And what's your favorite course to play on?
No, I never took that trip to the LPGA event out there in Hawaii. That's on my list of places to go. But my favorite, I don't have like a.
Silly, man. Pastor, you have to understand who you're talking to. Like, you got to watch his face when you say stuff. When you say that's on my list, he's in Hawaii, and when you say that's on my list of places to go, he went. He one of the sponsors I was talking about earlier. He gets no golf game.
Do not come on. I'm serious. The courses are great out here. That's what I was.
Yeah.
How many times did you play them, Chico? They so great.
I've walked by them before.
Yeah, see.
Now, I have a picture with myself and my golf club. I'm out on the beach and I'm practicing golf swing.
Club one?
I had one in my hand.
Okay.
The one I was holding.
He one of those that say they play golf, but they really don't play golf.
I just need a teacher and a tutor. That's all. I'm a good caddy though.
Everyone is. Everyone's good.
Hey, look, shout out to Andre Walker. Andre Walker says Shasta laughed at your 25 plus handicap on NOT. I did hear her laugh at me. Like, I was just keeping it real. Why come on here and lie? She a pro.
I have a question. I have a real question. Another real question.
A real question.
You mentioned Tiger Woods earlier. I'm wondering who was more influential to you and why? Tiger Woods or someone like Serena Williams?
Oh, that's such a good question.
That's actually a good one, Chico.
I think I would say, not to diminish anything, obviously with Serena being a well-accomplished female athlete, but I would say Tiger, because I didn't really watch tennis as much, and if I did, it was because Serena, was winning. But I would say that Tiger, because of the mental toughness and the barriers that he broke through, and I watched him all the time. Like whenever Tiger was in the field, I'm locked into the TV, like Thursday through Sunday, if I'm not competing. And I would say, at least from that perspective of the game, but it's hard. This is such a hard question because Serena, like, she's a Black woman, and she had to really endure so much mental stress of constantly being criticized and ridiculed. Her winning wasn't enough. Always being talked about her appearance, and just seeing her push through all that and accomplish what she accomplished. That's such a hard question. You really put me in the corner here. I gotta say both.
Say both. All right.
It was both of them were very inspirational to my game, and it was for different reasons.
Hey, Shasta, I want to ask you real quick. Was there any time we see, like, sometimes when people of mixed descent, and you have African American heritage and also Mexican, from what I read, sometimes people feel pressure. Like if somebody asks them about being African American, they'll be quick to say, "Oh, I'm also this." Did you ever? And it's not because they don't respect that other descent that they are that represents them, but like sometimes there are different connotations of people when they say you're an African American doing something. Have you ever felt any pressure to kind of downplay your African American heritage as far as being in a predominantly white game?
No, I've never felt any pressure to downplay it. How this all started, it actually, like, my race was never brought up in high school in the state of Michigan, college at Jackson State. It wasn't until it was two situations. One was it was the U.S. Women's Pub Links, and it was in Erin Hills, Wisconsin. And it's like comparable to U.S. Women Am, and just on a public golf course. So anyways, I'm playing well, and I actually make a stroke play. I make match play. And it was like round 32 and I advanced. Round 64 and I advanced to round 32. And so this article comes out about me being a Black player in the field and that they haven't seen one. And, it was just, I don't remember exactly what it was said, but it was the first time I read an article that highlighted what my ethnicity was. And so, I'm like, okay, cool. I got some national attention or whatever. I'm just thinking maybe that's going to help with like sponsorship, because I knew I was going to turn professional at that point. And so when I went to Q school down in Venice, Florida, I played my first round. And at the time, Sis Cross America was my sponsor. They paid for everything. And 3 of the ladies and their husbands come to watch me play. And so at the end, I opened the first round with 69. So I'm top, probably top 3 leaderboard. So one of the journalists pulls me over and she's like, are you African American? And I was like, well, yeah, my dad is. And she's like, okay, well, we just, we saw a few, some ladies and their husbands following you, and we just wanted to know what your ethnicity was. And so I was like, well, yes, I am. My dad's Black, but my mom is also, I just kind of kept it general because she's kind of mixed up too, but she's Hispanic. And so this whole like blow up of my nationality or ethnicity became a focal point when I got my tour card. And it was fine because I embraced who I am. I'm not ashamed of who I am, but I think that my mom, we had some arguments, like, because she would read articles and she's like, I just feel like you don't even acknowledge me. You're not even proud of me. And I'm like, Mom, when I tell you, I literally in the interview, I mentioned who I was. And I mentioned that I was, but in order to pull viewership, reads, it's kind of better to just play off of, that I'm just a Black woman that's playing, an African-American woman. And also, in the United States, like if you even have 10% of African-American in you, you're a Black woman. Mm-hmm. And, but I embraced it, I embraced it. I'm very comfortable with myself and in my skin. And I unfortunately was not raised with my mom's side family. So, I just don't really have that background reference connection, unfortunately. So I was raised my dad's side family. So I'm more in tune with my dad's side family. And it comes out and just like from a cultural standpoint, and it's okay. Like I'm very comfortable with it.
I'm so glad you said that, because I think about some of the people that we talk about in those positions. And I think sometimes, and the first thing, as a black man, you're like, oh man, you got to represent for us. But then, to hear it from a different perspective of your mom, I think that shines new light. Even for me, I just learned something today, because it's like, we don't think about, how the other part of your ethnicity may feel if they don't just get that same amount of recognition. So I think understanding this is the first part of the solution to any of this, right? So I just want to tell you, I appreciate you being, open as much as you can share that.
Yeah, she kept it that way.
Yeah,
she was right. What I'm gonna work on your behalf, Shasta. I'm gonna see, can I get Popeyes and Taco Bell to come together and come up with a special?
Man, you silly, man.
2 legs, a biscuit, and a chalupa.
Easy.
Oh my
That's
God.
I got a fly right there.
What? I have to say though, that was such a great question, because when I did get my tour card, and there was a huge buzz in 2011 about it, and I did, on top of being injured and trying to play through that the entire season on the LPGA and not playing well, I did have a lot of pressure. I had a lot of pressure that was just like, you got to represent for us. You're representing all the Black girls and this and that. And I was just like, okay, I understand what you're saying. I'm playing through tendonitis right now. I really can't afford to be out here. I don't have enough sponsorship money to stay out here, let alone just miss the cut. So I'm out. I'm like out by $3,000. And this golf ball really doesn't know what I look like. This golf ball doesn't care. This golf ball wants me to keep it in the fairway, hit the green, and make the putt and move on. And so at the time, I wasn't shying away from it, but I felt the internal buildup of pressure. And it was really difficult to talk to someone about it. I just kind of bottled everything up, and I didn't really talk to anyone about some of the things that, I was experiencing, with just pressure and not being fully supported to really do this and do it the right way.
Yeah.
I love that.
A lot of times that's what make the headlines. The first Black to do this, the first Black to do that. And they don't add that other culture into it. I think we saw it with Coach Freeman from Notre Dame this year, right? When people were saying he's going to be the first coach, and then we got to revise this. He's the first coach, Black coach, and of Asian descent or whatever. So they had to make sure they put that in notes. So I wanted to ask you this, and I have a picture to go with it. And you spoke about young girls. What are your thoughts on? I know you kind of spoke on it earlier, but what are your influences, and what do you hope to pass along to the younger generation of young African American golfers coming up?
It's so, that happened 2-3 years ago. That went by so fast, but that was a really fun experience we had. It was me and a few other my fellow tour players, and we went down to Mobile and worked with Ronald Davis, who runs the LPGA girls golf section in Mobile, and seeing the kids there and getting just a little dose of experience with the game. What I want for young Black girls to know with golf, if they do decide they have an interest or they get introduced to the game, is to really embrace what comes with the game of golf. It's just not about a trend. It's just not about an aesthetic. It's about a bigger picture it's a lifelong commitment. You can play this when you're 90 years old. You may not be that great at it, but you can play it at 90 years old. The people you meet through the game of golf is incredible. I've met so many amazing people, a lot of people that have been able to support my career, amplify my career, help me transition when I pivoted away from golf into corporate America for a few years, and then coming back. It was all through meeting people through the game of golf, and also competitive reasons. Like, if you have a competitive spirit and you want to win, and this is a sport where you are relying on you don't have to rely on a team. and someone missed a pass, or they missed a block, or missed a serve. Like, it's you, everything's on you. So you get to celebrate your wins and your losses by yourself. And that's just something that I want a lot of especially with social media, because everything's about the aesthetic and it looks good and trendy. And I feel like a lot of girls can get sucked into that, but there's so many other benefits with the game of golf. And also you learn about yourself and other people's character when you're on the golf course with them. You figure out if they lie about their score, if they cheat and drop a ball out of their pocket. Like, you learn about how they handle adversity when they hit the ball in the water.
Yeah.
And that just applies to career, dating, friendship, all of it. So I just say, like, look at the big picture with the game of golf versus just right here, right now.
Shasta, let me hit you with this, because I will cheat out there.
Well, that says a lot about you, huh?
Yeah, it does. I hit a great shot, couldn't find the ball, so I dropped my secondary ball with the same marking out my pocket while nobody was looking, only to go up 30 yards further, and then my ball was in the middle, and they were like, "Hey, ain't that you right there?" I was like, "Huh?" Yeah. So, hey, Shasta, another I got to send you. I'm gonna send you this video clip. My daughter Jasmine, we went to Top Golf about a week or two ago while we were on spring break. And Jasmine is like 6'1" barefoot. And so when the ball comes out to shoot, she uses her toes to pick it up and put it on the tee.
Stop.
Sorry.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't scold her for that. Like, why not?
Well, I knew you'd appreciate it. You're pretty damn tall yourself. They can't tell you sitting down, but you got.
Well, let everybody know then. What's your height?
I'm 6'1".
You scared? 6'1". Okay, nice.
6'4" with heels.
Another woo. There's got a breeze came in. It's cold out here, snowing. Don't shake your head. Do something ignorant. Look here, Shasta. One question came in. I don't see it on my screen, but I've seen you doing some podcasting lately where you're doing the interviewing. Talk about your maybe working in broadcasting as an analyst. Like, is that something that you got interest in?
So this is a transition year for me. I decided to step away from touring last fall. I realized there was a number of factors for me to make that decision, but I really haven't officially just announced it or anything like that. I'll just, like, in conversation, like, I'll just let people know. But the past few years, I've been trying to explore other opportunities. Maybe it's media is something I want to do while I've been playing part-time on the tour. And then also maybe a little bit of consultant work. And so these are the things I was balancing the past 2 or 3 years. And so this year is going to be more of I'm going to create the opportunities versus having them come to me or being rejected because I don't have a journalism degree or a communications degree, which is rightfully so. I understand that. But you also have those people that have those degrees that still make a lot of mistakes and not, providing me at least an opportunity. Like, they say you need experience. Okay, well, how do you get experience? Well, you need the opportunity. And so I said, well, just create it.
Sister girl, you got the opportunity with the Pregame Network. We closing in 120,000 subscribers. You can have the Shasta Averyhardt Golf Channel show right here all you want. There's your opportunity. Bam.
Yes,
hey,
indeed.
Boom. There it is. Easy.
I think that'd be dope.
So that is, I like storytelling. I realized that I dabbled a little bit in, like, live, commentating. I was like, I can't do this. I'm not, because sometimes you got to make stuff up, and I can't make stuff up on the whim. I'm like, no, this is what I see, and I'm communicating exactly what I see to, the listeners or, the viewers. And so
that's where me and Chico come in. Me and Chico, we good at making shit up. So, like, you do the golf part.
So that's your lane, yes.
We got the color commentary. I make stuff up. Chico lie. It's a difference.
And then to also start a consulting business. So that's been something that I've been putting together and finishing up a website touches so I can at least have that live soon.
Shasta, we're going to let you get up out of here. Coming up on the hour 15 mark. We appreciate you being with us today. Got one final thing for you, just popped on the screen from Kenlyn Jones at the Pregame Network. Can we please ask her how she feels about HBCUs having to cut smaller programs like golf, gymnastics, and swimming, and the impact it has on Black participation in those sports? And we got to acknowledge that Jackson State, your alma mater, just brought back the golf program after being cut for a while. So talk about what you're seeing across the land with HBCUs having to cut golf programs and the impact it has.
Well, I think it's really unfortunate. I understand from a budget standpoint, if that respective sport is not bringing in revenue, they have to start looking at, we don't want to be in a hole, so we need to start looking at some of the sports that just don't bring in revenue. I understand that piece, but it also eliminates a lot of opportunity for some of the younger kids that may want to go to HBCU, but they don't have a swim team, like none of them, or they don't have a bowling team, or they don't have a golf team, or even let alone a tennis team. And so that would be very discouraging to even want to invest into that sport. And then also too, they're going to want to go ahead and go, the PWI route. And it's all about resources, right? I think that it's where we're at in today's age. A lot of the kids that are competing and being really good at what they do, they're able to do it because of resources and being able to pay for private lessons. And that's something that if you got those kids going to the big schools, and then it funnels down to the secondary schools, and then it starts funneling down to HBCUs or whatever the case may be. Now you're looking at the talent's going to be different because I got NIL. And so you have all these factors that look like, hey, we got to get rid of some of these programs because all of these other really good kids are going to other universities. And it's just it's a shame. It just seems like we're just in a different time, and it's always it's a shift that's happening. And the only way to really sustain those programs is to have a lot of money circulating through those the schools, whether it's basketball and mainly football, and boosters. Boosters.
All I know during your Jackson State days, had NIL existed, Stamp Burgers, Adams Corner, everybody would have been on Team Shasta trying to sign up.
That would have been, I was born a little too early. I was just a little too early.
Shasta, we appreciate you being with us today. And I'm going to contact you about the content stuff. Like that's going to happen in 2025.
Yeah, that should happen.
Okay. Yeah, please. Yes, please reach out to me when you have some time. We can, hop on a call.
Hey, we appreciate your time today. Hope you'll come back soon and join us and stop being a damn stranger in real life. Because I'm going to have everybody in the chat right now type JAXA, type JAXA if y'all have enjoyed Shasta being
I'm sure that's a little inside right there.
It is. Yeah.
Oh,
she changed colors right on the screen. Y'all talking about racing that? There it is, Jackson, JAXA. There you go. Jackson's coming on in there. Appreciate you, Shasta. We're gonna be in touch.
Wait, Shasta. We gotta give her a chance. Give a shout out to anybody. You want to give a shout out? You want to give love to anybody out there before you get up out of here?
Oh, I do want to shout out. She's not listening right now, but I just want to shout out my best friend, Nakia P, who came in with me as a freshman. We're on golf team roommates. We're sisters. We're locked in for life. She just built my website, which she just built my consulting website. And so being able to have her to rely on like a sister has been great. So just want to shout you out, Nakia, even though you're not listening because you don't know I'm live. I love you. You're my sister for life. And hopefully homecoming 2025.
There you go.
Love it.
Thank you once again.
Jackson's coming in here. JAXA in the building.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. Once again, the legend.
Chico, how much time did you put in on that introduction, man? You worked on that, Chico. I appreciate that.
That was a little wham. I just came up with it right before the show. That's all.
Stop lying, boy.
Hey, she deserved it, man. She deserved
I
it.
ain't saying she deserved it. I said, how long you worked on it?
I didn't really work on it. I just, let me do this right quick. And bam.
All right, we'll do one for Dukes right now then, since she ain't take long.
Okay, you want me to do it for Dukes? I mean, Dukes is not as, well, you know what, Dukes? I'm not going to say it. I'm going to say this. Let's give it up for the multi-talented. Stop. Oh, why you laughing?
Because you can't do it.
You're so wild, dog. If you give me 5 minutes, I could actually.
Hey, nah, Rich.
5 minutes then.
Chico wasn't gonna do it at first. He had a little intrusive thought. He was like, "Nah, go ahead and do it." You did.
I was like, I wasn't gonna do it. Maybe it'd
be too much. You're like, you know what?
It'd be too much.
Do it.
Yeah, I was like, F it, man. Hell, Unc gave an intro, but we need to add this into. You saw me calculating in my brain.
We saw smoke coming out your ears.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, do it. Hey, bro, you supposed to, man. Hey, man, let me tell you something, dog. One thing about it. When you have opportunities, man, you're supposed to take advantage of them. And that was an opportunity for you to do something that you worked on, and you did it, man. I'm proud of you, Chico.
Unlike your Easter speech in 7th grade that you didn't work on.
You saw how Unc had to shoot it down? He took it all the way back to Easter speech in 7th grade. Like, damn.
Well, let me tell you something, Chico. Let me tell you something, Chico. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You've heard something in your life that I've never heard in my life.
Okay.
You've heard something in your life that I've never heard in my life.
Right.
You stood in front of the church on Easter weekend and you heard people say, "That's okay, baby. It's going to be all right." I said my speech perfectly. I ain't never get that. Like
Wow.
You got all kind of words of encouragement.
Take your time, baby. Take your time.
Come on, baby. Take your time.
All right. Two things I wanted to say during the interview, but I didn't want to take it too far left because I could. Well, one of them is a golfer who I used to watch back in the day was Sari Pop. Y'all remember that name? I never forget that name. She was a female golfer. I think she was Asian, but she had the biggest Korean, but she had the biggest damn calves I've ever seen on the golfer. But she was pretty good back in the day. I was going to ask about her.
I'm glad you waited on Shasta to leave before you said that.
Yeah, because it really didn't fall into.
Or it could have.
Yeah, but give me some props for recognizing that too and not bringing it up at the time. You know what I'm saying?
I just gave them to you. Yeah, I saw you.
Yeah,
I saw you.
that.
Of all the pictures you brought up, you brought the one showing them legs. So I saw you do that. Talking about this about them little kids. You wasn't looking at the little kids.
Man, you wild. Here you go.
You gave a damn about the little kids.
Unc called me a damn what do you call me? What type of booster you call me, man? One of them boosters?
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Sponsors. You want to sponsor, all right.
Now you're gonna be mad when she come out here and play one of these golf courses and you see me as a caddy and I'm like,
nah, she gonna be mad when she lose with you and her caddy.
She gonna be like, I never hit golf balls like this before. I need to make sure I have you as you might be a good luck charm. But we're not gonna blaze over and go over the fact that Unc gave us the biggest pause moment of the night. Lord.
I sucked.
Yes, we know this now.
Yeah.
Whew. That was so funny. I looked at Duke's face. Duke got it. He got it as.
I'm like Coach Prime, man. Y'all too infantile for me, man. I can't even talk around y'all.
Man.
I let it slide most of the time, but the way you said it right there.
Only reason I said it, dog, Uncle Neely be the first one. I done seen him in action. He do. He done got me so many times. I ain't say nothing. He done got me so many times. I ain't said a word.
Faces, man. I had to try to keep going. Somebody got to be a professional.
I couldn't help it, man. Unc will so tell you if you get one. He like, what you say, dude? I didn't even know y'all was doing it. I mean, the first time I came on, I didn't know y'all was doing it. Like,
what you say? He was doing it either. That's Unc, man. Yeah. And then now he come with the most pause-worthy moment of all times.
Here's a look.
Back in the day at Jackson State, I was a king sucker. I was like, what? I was the captain of the suck team. Like, what?
He did not say that.
I totally did not say that.
He did not say that.
He mixed it all the way up.
Said it. Y'all done mixed up something. You'd have called me a damn some type of booster. You call me. You can't do that. So I'm gonna call you this. Booster. Ghetto booster, janky booster, whatever.
Type of ghetto booster. Chico don't play about that ghetto.
Oh,
no.
Ghetto doesn't have a color.
Man, I ain't gonna say that. You tell on yourself.
Man, come on, dog. Anyways, y'all, Uncle find any type of way to get off that moment. But anyway, King Sucker #1, KS1 is Uncle.
We gonna get you. We gonna get you.
It's like, well, Chico, let me help you out.
Oh, here we go, Lord.
From one wordsmith to one that's trying to become one.
You are a wordsmith. I give you that.
It works better when you tell the truth. See, like when I quote you, and I hit you back, like I'm using your own word. Here's where you mess up. You try to take my words that I messed up on, and then you want to make them funnier, and then you kill the joke. If you would just go ahead and quote what I said and laugh at that, it'd be much better.
What'd you say, Unc? Say it again.
I sucked. But here what you going, I was at Jackson State, the king sucker. Hey, they said, look, you're like, dog, you ruined it.
Oh, that's a lie right there. Big Papa Funk. No ghettos in Hawaii. Ish. I'll take you there. You'll see some.
Hey, man, we got a spring game tomorrow. It is literally actively
big.
snowing right now, like actively dead-ass snowing. But it's supposed to be a clear day tomorrow, so we're going to get it on. And close out, man. That'll be practice 15 here in Colorado. Take a little break in May, and then we come back in June and July for summer 1, summer 2. Be fall camp before you know it, man.
So it's supposed to clear up tomorrow, you said.
Say again?
You said it's supposed to clear up tomorrow?
Yeah, the weather. Let me look at the latest. I know it's not any snow tomorrow.
Man, that'll be
yeah, like right now it is 100% snowing. Tomorrow's chance is down like 20%, but the high is 44 and sunny. So we'll see.
Good.
We played that first year. I know we're gonna play tomorrow.
Well, you guys out there, if you have a chance to get tickets, you know, and you was waiting to see what the weather is gonna be like, now you know. It's gonna be nice. It should be nice and clear out that thing. So
take me off the screen a second. I'm gonna take the camera out here and see if it'll work.
Okay, hold on 1 second. There we go. Dukes?
Yo.
What you got planned for the rest of the day, man?
I'm chilling, man. Cam off. We probably go out and throw the football around, work a little bit, and then
not to cut you. I was just gonna say, man, hey, one thing I'll say this without tearing up or something, he gonna remember those days, dog. For what you're doing for him, right? I'm gonna leave it right there because I'll tear up thinking about that.
Oh, man. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Let me see something, Chico.
Man, it's snowing for real out that thing.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's snow. I'm gonna go. I'm walking in the snow.
That's a lie. The devil is a lie.
You scared? Damn.
Man, it's probably been a good 3 inches fall since we started the show.
So that's walking over to the field right there from, I think, the cafeteria area.
No, I'm upstairs in the cafeteria.
Okay. You got the coaching area then. Oh my God.
Yeah, so they got they knew the snow was coming, so they put the tarp over the field yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see them getting snow off the tarp. And I don't know if you can see over there because I can't zoom, but Travis Hunter's name is already up. Shedeur Sanders' name already up. Travis is the first one. Shedeur is on the end.
Okay. Man, that's great. So I saw where they were doing the field out there. Are they supposed to be getting artificial turf out there?
Yeah, that starts June 1st.
Okay.
So we have a couple events. You got graduation, then you got the Boulder Run. When those things end, they'll start construction on the turf field.
Nice. Man. Unc, have you ever lived in a place where it's been snowing this much?
Hell no.
How you been adapted to it then?
All sound like Ron Simmons.
Did it?
Real.
Yeah, you made me laugh. I just thought about that. He damn sure did sound like Ron Simmons right there.
Yeah, that was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's snowing out there, man.
That's crazy, man. Hey. Well, everybody in attendance, wherever you're at, y'all see what's going on in Boulder.
Hey, what's the word for tomorrow?
Oh yeah, let everybody know what's the word for tomorrow. What we gonna do tomorrow as far as bringing coverage for the spring game?
Well, I think we're gonna try. Damn snow on my feet. I think we're gonna try a couple of live things, pre and during, but certainly gonna do something live post game.
Okay. All right, y'all hear that? Y'all make sure y'all tune in tomorrow for the spring game. That's the 19th. Also, as you saw, they're already up the names and the numbers. Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders retired.
Up the scope.
Yes, indeed. Y'all know what to do, man. Hit the like, subscribe, and comment. We had a great guest today, Miss Shasta Averyhardt. We appreciate her joining in. Everybody, y'all go and show her some love on her social media. You go, Unc, showing us the backside. Oh, that's
those
the
are the downstairs
area, right?
practice fields, the lower fields.
Oh yeah.
So you talk about all last week.
Man.
It was 80 and sunny every day. I think it even got an 85 one day. Yesterday it was 75 and sunny, and overnight this happened.
You know why I like that? Because you get so many different weather, like seasons. You know what I mean? Like you get the rain, the snow, the sunshine, the 80 degrees. When I tell
Chico, variety.
Yeah, you get a variety. I'm just 80 degrees all the time out this thing. 78. Oh, it might drop down to 66. Oh, we cold. You know?
Yeah. Chico like the snow.
Man, yeah, I wouldn't mind the snow for a little while. It snowed in Alabama right before I left too.
You know you like playing in the snow. I'm talking about sledding, toboggan,
Like,
appreciate you, Vaughn Randall. Said great show, gentlemen. Andre Walker, appreciate you being in the chat also. Big Beats Franklin. Oh, no. I'm showing us the backside. Big Papa Funk. Goonsville Clothing up in here. John Gray. I'd rather be golfing, said what's happening. Just my opinion. Lorenzo and everybody else. We appreciate y'all joining in, man. Another episode of the Morning Run on this Aloha Good Friday with Phillip Dukes, Uncle Neely, and Big Dog Chico. We're going to be up and about this thing. Y'all make sure y'all tune in with us on the Morning Run Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on the Pregame Network. Until next time, we up and about this thing. Peace in the middle.